Hey folks, Chris here. Quick vlog entry. It's been about 10 days since I've done a video. My last set of videos were me traveling through Utah, southern and central Utah, and I've gotten back to central Utah, and I immediately had a project to do that kind of ate up a lot of my time. In fact, I had a couple of projects. Being a digital nomad, I'm always at my computer sometimes, but I had one that I needed my Mac Pro at, and I've been able to come back and park at a family's house and plug in, which was so much nicer than having to run the generator. I actually just got back from doing laundry. It was one of those nights where there was a bit of a storm outside. And so I decided, now that I kind of finished up a bunch of that project, I had a whole bunch of laundry that's just been sitting there for, gosh, a couple of weeks now. And I found a laundromat down the street that was fairly modern. It seemed to be revamped since the last time I was here. And so I just went in there and did a whole load of laundry and nice new machines, and it wasn't too expensive. I have to tell you, the one laundromat that I used that I really liked was a little divey one down in St. George that was nearby where I was parking, and it was inexpensive. It was, like I said, it was kind of divey, but the machines all worked. And there was one in Lake Havasu that I used that was this ultra-modern laundry facility, but it was kind of expensive. So I'm glad I didn't have to use that a lot. So anyway, now that I'm kind of back in mode for preparation to get back on the road because I'm wanting to head up to the Pacific Northwest, I've had a series of projects in the back of my mind that I've wanted for the preparation of the RV. And one of them was dealing with the step into the RV by the main door here. I kept the original carpet in the RV. And I had decided not to rip it out and put it in with vinyl, even though I had watched a whole bunch of videos of people with older RVs taking out the carpet and putting in vinyl. But a number of them talked about kind of regretting it just a little bit because the carpeting had an insulating effect. And it was also going to be a lot of work to do it, so I just decided to keep the carpet. And I've put in secondary carpets, a series of secondary carpets. One of the things that I did do was I removed the carpet down in the steps. So the carpet had just gone right down into the step, and it had gotten kind of nasty down there. So when I did get the RV originally, that was the one piece of carpeting that I did remove because it just was gross. And I ended up just leaving the wood underneath it that was kind of exposed there, and I just put a little cheap IKEA carpet down there. But it was time to do something with it because it was an area that was quite susceptible to water damage and just wear and tear, being untreated bare wood. And so what I decided to do was I took out a little bit of extra carpet, and the carpet that overhanged down into the step was only secured around the bottom of it. So I was able to just cut that away with a carpet cutting tool. And I'm going to leave that lip of carpeting down there, but I was able to pull it back and sand all the wood down in that area. And I also had to remove a piece of carpet that was just kind of sitting off to the side next to a cabinet that was there. So I removed all of that, sanded as best I could. I was not trying to do a perfect job. It was not for massive aesthetic reasons. Once I had sanded and vacuumed and cleaned it all out as best I could, I had to use a hammer to hammer in some of the old staples that were there from the carpeting and the construction, and applied polyurethane to it. Applying 3 coats of polyurethane will completely protect that wood from traipsing in water and from water damage, and it'll just make that last so much longer. When I was at Home Depot getting the polyurethane, I noticed that they had some step protectors for stairs that was like a rubber type of material. And so I bought one. It was only $2 or $3, and it happened to fit just perfectly down into that step well. And so that will add an extra layer of protection. For right now, I may keep that IKEA carpet there because it's also sort of protecting some of the original carpeting in the RV. But that was one little project that I've wanted to do for a long time, and I finally had a chance the other day to do that. I also painted a couple of pieces of wood that were on the inside of a back storage unit. It's been raining a lot lately, and I noticed that just because of the way the RV has been stationed, it's been fairly level, but you're never perfectly level. And so when it rains, you kind of notice runoff patterns. And I had noticed water running down the side of the RV and basically down over onto a door. And right inside of that door, when it opens up, were just some pieces of structural wood there. So I also applied some polyurethane to those. And they didn't seem to have any, again, indications of water intrusion, but it was just a protective thing. So yay, polyurethane. I was a little bit concerned that there would be a lingering smell, but it dried fairly quickly. I painted one coat and I let it sit for a couple of hours per the instructions. I painted a second coat and then I let that sit, and then the next day I did a quick sand. The instructions talk about doing a real light sand over it, and then I painted a third coat on it. And it just happened to be that the next day after that it rained, and so I could see exactly how all of this, the rubber mat and the polyurethane, was protecting that step from water, because in fact when I was walking in and out, that rubber mat had water on it. So yay, easy project, such an easy project to do. So I've got some other things that I'm going to do some quick video on before I get back on the road. Again, dealing with the carpets and some clever techniques that I've come up with for securing carpets, and also my desk. I'm going to talk about that, and I'm also going to talk about how I deal with light blocking materials, curtains in the RV. So some fun stuff coming up. Thanks for watching.